Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about the fear of abandonment today, and I'm so glad that you're here tuning in with me. I'm super grateful for that. I wrote a couple of things down on my paper. I know this looks like a lot, but we're going to get into a lot today. Please, 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 please. We got to talk about this. We have to talk about this. But before I get into this, I want to say there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, I'm just here to show you what the triggers are of having fear of abandonment, and that you can work through these triggers. This is not something where, oh my gosh, something is wrong with me, like why am I like this, why do I behave in this way? But it's good to acknowledge why you behave in certain ways. So we're gonna get straight into it. Most of the time, fear of abandonment, okay, we're gonna get straight into it, like for real. Okay, most of the time, fear of abandonment can be rooted in neglect or being abandoned in certain relationships, being abandoned by somebody that you really loved, or you were in a relationship that just hurt you really badly, so you developed a fear of being abandoned. So to get into it, mine personally is rooted in neglect. My fear of abandonment is rooted in neglect. Hey guys, I'm editing this video like right now, but I wanted to add a couple of things about how fear of abandonment shows up for me. Mine is kind of rooted in disorganized, because there can be clingy, but there can be me also having a fear of vulnerability, of getting too close to someone, being too seen, because a lot of the time I felt like I had to put on a performance to be loved. So when I was in relationships where I didn't have to put a performance, or I was in situations where I would meet people where I didn't have to put on a performance, I didn't have to force or earn their love, I felt like it was just too, like, I couldn't imagine love being this easy for me. Like, I don't know. In my head, I'm like, oh, you just love me as I am. You just appreciate me and for who I am with all flaws and all, regardless. So I would chase people where I would have to earn and validate that love. So I felt like me putting more of a performance to earn love was love to me for some reason. It's messed up. It's messed up. But that's how I viewed it in a way. Like, technically, if I look deeper into it, me chasing the external validation, I was really putting on this performance that I have to earn this love in a way, because I didn't find myself worthy of it. So I was trying to find evidence of it in other people and in the wrong people, when I knew I wanted deeper, meaningful connections. But I was with people that couldn't give me deeper, meaningful connections, because I myself was scared of deeper and meaningful connections, because I myself didn't want to be vulnerable, to be seen so deeply and intensely in an emotional, vulnerable way. Like, you don't want to, the thing with fear of abandonment, it's rooted in like something bad happening to you, opening up and being vulnerable, like that getting thrown back in your face is never, ever, ever fun. You don't ever want to pour so much into somebody and feel like it all just gets thrown in your face and you just wasted hella time. So a lot of the time, in the back of my head, I feel like I process that and ruminate on how that feels to be abandoned, and how it feels to pour into somebody and be vulnerable and be seen fully as I am, just for the relationship to end, or just not for it to end, but I lose somebody that I was so intimate with on a deep level. I just find it so hurtful to deal and sit in that pain. I wrote it down on the paper, so don't mind if I look down. But in your head, you chase love with the idea that you don't have it. So you take action based on that belief, then enforce it by trying to heavily change yourself to your partner's interest, to make yourself more likable and more appealing to others and your partner. This further disconnects you from yourself, and you can get consumed with other people's lives and who they are. Main thing about having fear of abandonment is that you can let other people consume you. Love is not something where you need to be consumed by the other person's life. A lot of the times people free up their free time and stop doing things they like just because they find somebody that they're interested in, and that's completely okay. I know, as for me, when I find somebody that I'm interested in, I want to spend time with you. I want to know what you like. I want to be with you every second. But that is unhealthy, okay? Not saying that it's not okay to be with your partner consistently, but being with your partner consistently to the point where you abandon the things that you do on your alone time, the things that you like to do, the things that you love to do, always being available for your partner will not be good for you. Why? Because you are idealizing and putting your partner on a pedestal. The most important thing about fear of abandonment, that's another thing I want to get into. Your partner is still a human being. Let that sink in. Your partner is still a human being. They have flaws. They still make mistakes. They are not perfect. You are also a human being that has flaws, that makes mistakes, and that is also not perfect. There are two people that make the relationship. A lot of the time in fear of abandonment, you could think you find yourself forcing your partner to love you. And the thing that we're trying to release is that you do not have to force anybody to love you. The person is going to do what they want to do. Okay, you can't make anybody control anything or make somebody do something that they do not want to do. Next thing that I wanted to get into. Let go the idea that love has to be hard work or earned, having to prove yourself. Love doesn't have to require sacrifices, thinking that you have to be good enough to be loved. Real love is about being accepted for who you are, your flaws, and still being loved regardless. You're still human. Love doesn't ask for perfection, but asks you to show up authentically and vulnerably. A lot of the times when you have fear of abandonment, you associate sacrificing yourself with being loved. You can love somebody without having to sacrifice yourself. And if loving somebody requires you being the sacrifice, then you need to get out of there. You need to run. You literally need to run. You do not have to love somebody out of sacrifice to force or prove your worth to anybody. They either already see you as worthy, as willing to put that ring on it, willing to be my girl, nothing less than commitment. Okay, what I'm saying? Unless that's what you're willing to do. But a lot of the times women will settle for friends with benefits or like being friends when that's not truly your intention. Learn to know when the relationship isn't meeting your emotional needs. And honestly, when you're in a relationship that doesn't meet your emotional needs, you will end up miserable. You'll always end up miserable. I'm telling you, that's the key thing. Actually, matter of fact, we're going to jump right into that. Weak boundaries. I'm going to get right into that topic. Weak boundaries. Don't accommodate your boundaries based on how others feel. If they feel bad about the consequences of your boundaries, then they probably shouldn't cross it. A lot of the times, you are willing to negotiate your own worth. You are willing to bargain for less. What you bargaining for? Over you? No. Anyways, like I was saying, I got interrupted real quick, but I'm gonna get right back into it. We were talking about weak boundaries. It is okay to find a middle ground, but when it comes to crossing boundaries and saying, hey, I don't like something, and they continue to trigger it anyways, like, let me give an example. I have fear of abandonment. When, say, I don't like inconsistency, and I don't like when my partner ignores me. Say I'm with someone that does both of those things. You're both inconsistent and you ignore me. Those are things that are non-negotiable for me. I let my partner know, hey, I don't appreciate when you ignore or when you're inconsistent. If they apologize for their inconsistency and their behavior, then we can be willing to negotiate something. But when disrespect initially happens, you have to let people sit in that consequence, okay? You do not bargain, you do not settle, because you will only end up miserable and your needs will get unmet. A lot of the time with people with fear of abandonment, when you're neglected, you grow up and you feel like a lot of your emotional needs go unmet. And personally, me, I had a busy immigrant mom. She was always working, so a lot of the times my emotional needs got unmet. That later grew into fear of abandonment, because a lot of times I would be in relationships where I'm not exactly getting what I need, but I am staying out of my love and appreciation for this person when I shouldn't, which only causes you to stay in relationships longer than you should, because you are in a situation where you're still miserable and you're still unhappy and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm idealizing my partner. I'm putting my partners first. I'm making my partner happy. You're so caught up in making your partner happy, so caught up in pleasing your partner, that you detach that I'm actually miserable. I haven't even paid attention if I'm happy. And the thing is, a lot of the time, women, they like to put off things. Oh, I'm just going to take off work and hang with my man. You know, usually I go to bed at like 11, 10:30. Usually I turn on my show and I like to, go to sleep right before then. Wait. Usually I turn on a show and then I go right back to sleep or whatever, and it's just a chill indoor night. I set me up a show and stuff like that. Then you find yourself getting with a man, and now you're like, I want to stay up late and talk to him. I want to spend so much time with him. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be by myself. It's not even rooted in I don't want to be alone, but hey, I'm just chiming in. I know I touch on it in the video, but literally a great example is, say, doing your own hair, making yourself look good, going to the gym, that hour or two a day, you put it off and be like, I want to go hang out with my boo. And then it just becomes consistent. And then you find yourself in a relationship where you're fat, ugly, miserable, and depressed, and wondering, what the hell happened to me in this relationship? I look a freaking mess. That's why breakup glow-ups happen. Why? I get back to doing things that I love. I get back to my habits, my hobbies, my loved ones, my family members, people that love you. The thing about it is, do not let yourself go based on the idea of what somebody else can give you or what they think they can give you. Please do not put time away and let people consume you, and that you to the point where you don't have time for yourself. This is what I don't want for you. Do not get out of touch with yourself. That's where fear of abandonment keeps you trapped. Okay? Have this attraction where like, I want to be with my man. I want to hang out with my man. And this there's nothing wrong with being with your man. It's just, once again, when you're consistently with somebody, that you abandon yourself in the process. The thing is, we want consistency with our partner, but we do not want to abandon ourselves in the process. That's when you get in relationships, and when the relationship ends, you don't know what you like. You don't know what you like to do because you've been doing so much. You've been doing everything that man like to do. You're like, oh my gosh, he like to drink. Oh my God, I'm gonna get me some bottles and he go come over, we gonna drink, and he gonna eat this puss. Now all y'all got in common is him hitting you up to eat this puss and drinking. You don't even like to drink. You don't even like to drink. You never drank till you met that man. Oh, he like rolling up, but I really like him. I'm going to I'm going to roll up and we're going to spark up together. He going to fire me up, and then that's all you guys do together consistently. When you know you want more out of the relationship, you want emotional depth, you want more than just hanging out and just physical, surface level stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that also pushes you further and further from the goal. You want secure relationships. You want reliable relationships. You want relationships where stuff is reciprocated. You really next topic. There's more to life than being in a relationship. You're more than just a girlfriend or wife. So don't base your worth in it. A lot of times I keep saying, a lot of the times with fear and abandonment, you place your worth in how much somebody else can value you. Your worth can never be determined by how somebody else values you. You determine your self-worth about how much you value yourself, and a lot of the times you do not find yourself worthy, so you keep searching for external validation, external evidence that you are important to somebody, that you're loved, that you matter, that you mean something. A lot of the times, loving somebody out of low self-worth, desperation, and just fear of them leaving you is not really love. It's not love. That's one thing about fear of abandonment. It's not love, it's fear. You are scared. And there's nothing wrong with being scared. This person does not meet every emotional need that you have. And even though you feel strongly attracted to them, that does not change a thing. You are not getting what you need out of this relationship. You need a loving relationship that is, once again, reciprocated and reliable. Okay. One question I had was, one thing I wanted to say is, anyone you lose out of vulnerability shouldn't be there in the first place. Anybody that you lose out of vulnerability should have never been there in the first place. My thing that I wanted to put out there, because I know a lot of the times, at least for me, Fear of abandonment shows up in different ways based off of your attachment style. Me personally, I feel like I'm a disorganized attachment style, so it's a little bit avoidant, it's a little bit anxious. It really just depends. I don't know. It really just depends, because I don't feel like I'm fully anxious attachment, but I don't feel like I'm fully avoidant, so I fall somewhere on the line. But what I wanted to say, it's okay to express when emotional needs go unmet. Express yourself and let your partner know when you need to feel supported. And how? Allow yourself to be seen vulnerably and in weakness. You deserve to be nurtured and emotionally fulfilled. My thing is, a lot of the times I would stifle my own emotional expression. I would hold myself and hold myself back, hold my feelings back, because I was so afraid of being vulnerable. And a lot of times you cannot lose anything from being vulnerable. Anybody that leaves from you being vulnerable, anybody that feels any type of way that's indifferent from your vulnerability, well, not anybody that feels differently about your vulnerability. If they are not comforting or accepting of your vulnerability, and you do not feel safe to express yourself and your needs, you also need to get out of that relationship. A relationship should be where communication is key. Communication is key. You express how you feel, your triggers, what you like and you don't like. So I feel like you shouldn't be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is how you connect with your partner on a deeper level. It creates a new level of relationship, of love in the relationship, when you are vulnerable with your partner. And I find myself a lot of times being scared of being vulnerable. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how they'll take how I feel. Don't change how you feel based on how others take it. That's okay. That's okay. Still express how you feel, with or without, or no matter how they take it. You still feel the way that you feel. It doesn't change that you feel that way. You don't need to take it back for feeling so strongly about somebody just because it's not reciprocated. Obviously, you should understand when your love is not being reciprocated and take that as a sign. Head out. One of the other things that I wanted to touch on One of the things that I wanted to touch on is the constant need to sacrifice yourself. Love doesn't call for sacrifice. Love doesn't call for hard work. Love flows freely. You do not need to. Love doesn't involve sacrifice. It doesn't need to be earned. Love flows freely if you allow it. You don't have to work. Love isn't restricting. Passion isn't enough. You need emotional stability. One of the things that I wanted to get out the way is that you do not have to fight tooth and nail to prove that you love somebody. Somebody is going to love you, flaws and all. And the thing about love is still having your flaws put in front of your partner's face. Still having your loved ones know what your flaws are, and they're still going to love you through it. They're still going to support you through it. And you should have the same compassion for yourself. It's okay to have flaws in front of your partner. You are not perfect. Your partner's not perfect. You don't need to idealize them. They don't need to idealize you. When people put you so high up on a pedestal, if you're the person with fear of abandonment or the other person is, when people put you so high up on a pedestal, they end up resenting you later because what? You loved them so much. Not only did you love them so much, but you continue to endlessly pork, endlessly be there, always there. You're always there. You're never not there. You are always there, constantly and consistently available to your partner wherever, whenever. It becomes an issue. Not saying it's not okay to be consistently available for your partner. Yes, but when it takes away from the time that you have for yourself, when it takes away from you, when you feel like you're giving and pouring endlessly to your partner, that you don't feel like you're pouring in enough into yourself, once again, I cannot stress this enough. This will only cause you to be consumed by your partner. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about is putting how you feel to the side and getting out of touch with your feelings. You only cater to your partner's needs, your partner's emotional wants, and what they want. And I can understand how it feels to want to be the best partner, to show up as the best partner for your partner. But when it gets to a point, it's like, am I even happy? Am I even pleased? I'm actually miserable trying to please you. You're actually making yourself miserable trying to please them, that you have never even thought to yourself, wait, I'm not actually happy in this relationship. This relationship serves no purpose to me. I'm just saying. Another thing with fear of abandonment, you start to look for signs. Every possible thing. Oh my gosh, does he like me? I'm constantly checking his social media. I'm constantly checking her social media. I want to know. I want to know, do they like me? Now, let me get into this. When you first start talking to somebody, yeah, you got to check that page. No shade. I check that page. I'm a girl. I'm going to go through that page. I'm probably going to go through your highlight, and I'm going to see who be in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Some people take it a step further. They might go through that following. Who you following? Who you like? Who did you fuck with? You gotta, put in that work, put two and two together. You feel me? So a lot of the time people can get obsessed. And I know how, let me put the notebook down. I know how it can get when you get really obsessive to the point where you open the app, you checking that page. You put that phone down, you checking that page. In the middle of the night, you checking that page. Is he talking about another bitch? You checking that page to know if he's talking to another. You checking that page to talking if he made another B friend. If he talking to another B, or is he out in the club? What is he doing? You checking that page. You checking that page. He outside. You know, cause you checking that page on that burner account, shawty. You gotta chill. You are losing your mind in somebody else. This only feeds the obsession within you. Now, when I say don't check that page, I don't mean that you're just gonna absolutely wake up, you're gonna kill the urge to check that page. No, you're gonna still want to check that page. You're gonna still want to check that page. The thing is, you gotta have discipline. It's very hard. At first, you're so consistently to watching that person's page that you gotta be like, okay, at one point you're gonna be like, I'm checking this person page every day. And if you not, stop checking that person page every single day. Okay? They do not care. They are living their life. And even if they do care, they might put on a stunt just to piss you off. And it's your fault, because why you checking that person page? And I honestly want to say, do not shame yourself. Like, oh my gosh, I'm consistently watching this man page. I am crazy, stalkerish, and obsessive. No, calm down. You might be a little obsessive. But the thing is, starve it. That's the only way. That's actually for me. If you need to restrict, block anybody, whatever app, delete it. Delete the photos, delete him, the number, the Instagram, the burner account. Actually, you might just need to take a break from social media. Depending on how bad you be running to that page and watching it every second. Stop page watching that man. I mean, there's no shame here. I understand. You want to know what he's up to. But your mind is trying to find evidence. Oh my gosh, does he love me? Oh my gosh, do I mean something to him? Oh my gosh, do I matter to him? Is he only exclusive to me? Do not let your mind thoughts run rapid. They will drive you insane. They will have you obsessively looking for answers, obsessively trying to get this love out of this person without realizing, what am I doing to actually earn this love? Why am I fighting so hard to earn this love? Am I present in reality? Am I seeing how I'm being treated and understanding what's being told to me? Are they telling me that they don't want to be with me? Are they telling me that they want to be in a situationship or friends with benefits? Are they being real with me? Are they being honest? You got to be transparent in relationships, and a lot of the time with transparency, you got to be honest. You got to be honest to be transparent. You got to be straight up. You got to be for real. You got to be for real. So you have to understand and ask your partner, hey, I'm having these worries and concerns. I want to feel more supported in this relationship. Depending on how they respond to that is your answer on if you should be in that relationship or not. Are you with somebody that reassures you? And if you need to be in a relationship where somebody reassures you, then don't be with people that don't reassure you. Why are you with somebody where you told him you need reassurance and you hate being ignored, and boom, he turned off his phone, go be out somewhere doing a whole other thing while you at home worried about what he doing? He probably, and the thing is, a lot of people, oh my gosh, another topic I wanted to touch on is people selling you the idea that they could love you. A lot of the time you need to have discernment. like I said in the beginning of the video, you will find people and they will make you feel excited. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I love him, love him, love him. The thing is, love bombing is real. People will sell you the idea that they could love you. So it's very important to have discernment. Is this person catering to my needs? Who are they? Am I evaluating for who they truly are? Do I see him as a human being for their flaws and all? You need to stop idealizing people and putting them on a pedestal. It is blinding you from seeing their actions and who they truly are. Okay, I turned on the AC in my car, so I hope that it's not too much trouble if you hear noise. That's just a quick little disclaimer. And first, back to the video. I just needed to turn on my car because it gets really, really hot in here. Like, my type of car, it don't matter what type of weather is going on, but it needs to be on and the AC need to be running. Anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say. Actually, I remember what I was gonna say. People will sell you the idea that they could love you. First thing they're going to do is probably love bomb you. They're probably going to convince you that they can give you every single thing that you desire. Like I said, that man could say that he went out with his friends, and then after he went and got his boots knocked off, he went and knocked somebody's boots down. The thing is, people will lie. The thing is, more personally, people will omit. They will tell you the truth, then also be lying. So they will tell a lie, but it's not completely a lie. It got some truth in it. Or they will tell the truth, but it's not completely true. It's also a lie. So say I got a boo. My boo said they were going to go out with their friends. But somehow I come back and you come back and it seemed like you was doing a whole lot of other business and you smell like somebody else. So you tell me I did go out with my friends. What did you do after that? That's omitting. Saying, if I ask, hey boo, where have you been all night? You like, oh, I just went out with my friends. He probably went out with his friends and was out with another person right after that. So it's easy to be careful about people selling you the idea that they could love you. They'll try to convince you. At first, people will try to do their best to convince you that they will love you endlessly. They will give you everything you desire. But it's very, very, very important to what? Have discernment, ladies. Have discernment, ladies, please. I want us to have discernment. I want us to win. Another thing I have on this paper. I'm sorry, guys. I have a lot of things on this paper. Let me see. Trying to gain control. Sorry. Trying to gain control out of fear of what I was trying to say is trying to gain control out of fear of rejection. A lot of the times when people become really anxious that their relationship is ending or coming to an end, they go like, oh my gosh, I need to find a way to fix this. I need to find a way to fix this to avoid the inevitable. The thing is, you cannot change if your partner wants to leave the relationship. If they want to leave the relationship, you need to take a step back, evaluate your feelings, and understand that it's okay if they don't want to be in this relationship anymore. You cannot force somebody and hold somebody into loving you and believing this person is going to bring this fantasy and this is some type of thing that they're going to fulfill and that you are supposed to have a long-lasting relationship and fly into the sun together. I don't know. Run away on a chariot. And honestly, a lot of the time, women idealize being in love. They're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be this grand love and we're like never gonna be apart from. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruptions, but I'm gonna get right back into it. So being hyper vigilant of all the signs that might lead to rejection, trying to gain control to avoid rejection, or becoming anxious when your relationship is about to end. One thing about it, I found myself people pleasing, and not only people pleasing, but sacrificing and overextending myself when I knew that relationships were coming to an end, just to try to gain control of it not happening. The thing is not to gain control about you being in this long relationship. Of course, as women, we want to be in this long-lasting relationship. That's a dream. That's why a lot of people, the goal is marriage. And I can understand that. Like, yes, girl, the goal is marriage. If that's what you want, do not settle for any commitment less than that. You know, be with somebody that takes you serious. Be with somebody that allows you to be vulnerable. Be with somebody that's reliable and be with somebody that's reliable and reciprocates those feelings. A lot of the time we obsess over the outcome of how the situation may happen. You think this is going to end with marriage, this is going to end with this, but then you don't know the other person's intentions. You haven't taken time to learn the person's intentions. I want you to detach from the outcome. You may not have the grand idea and fantasy that you have in your head may not be the same way your partner views the relationship. You got to really reevaluate the mutual understanding between you and your partner, because you're not the only one in this relationship. It takes two people to make a relationship, and you don't know how the other person is going to feel or how they're going to feel in the future. You are trying to gain control and find evidence that this person is going to give you a long-lasting relationship, but you're finding it within people that don't want to give you that. You feel me? You're forcing relationships with people that don't want to give you long-lasting relationships, and to avoid the fact that they don't want to give it to you from who you want it from, you force it and try to prove yourself, overextend yourself. I gotta make this person want to be in a loving, long-lasting relationship with me. The thing is, people are gonna do what they want to do, and unless they want to love you, unless he wants to love you, she wants to love you, they will not do it unless it's on their own accord. You cannot force anybody to do anything, and you sure as hell can't prove or make nobody love you. You just can't. It's quite literally impossible. I found myself thinking, I was like, hey, I don't want to continue to love somebody out of fear. I want them to want to love me. I want them to make the decisive decision that they want to be with me. If I'm with somebody that's not making the decision that they want to be with me and give me commitment, I will go ahead and move on and take my business elsewhere. One thing about it is, once you cut people off that are not meant to be in your life, you will never see them again. You will never see them again. And quit doing the, oh my gosh, the removal prayer. Baby, you have free will. God cannot remove him unless you don't want to remove him your damn self. People may not agree with the message, but you have to make the initiative that you want that person out of your life. Once you make the initiative that you want that person out of your life, God will align that with the desire of you not wanting that person in your life. If I tell God, oh my gosh, removal prayer, I need him to be removed out of my life because I don't want him. I don't like the way I'm being treated. Give me a sign. Oh, what are the big things that woman do? Give me a sign that this man not for me. If I get that sign that this man not for me, I just won't do it. And you get 5, 6, 7,000, 8,000 times. You get 8,000 signs on not to be with this person. And honestly, the evidence is in you trying to find a sign not to be with them. The first moment you try to find a sign not to be with this person, you need to get up out of there. You need to get up out of there. You don't need to be with them. Because the one thing about it is, God will align with your desire. God will make it happen in the right time, at the right place. So if you're not ready to let go of this relationship, that's understandable. That's okay. You don't need to search for signs you can search for signs, but the sign is you not being emotionally fulfilled in the relationship. That's all it takes. Are you getting what you need out of the relationship? Are you and your partner's needs being catered to? Is your partner's needs only getting catered to? Are you emotionally abandoning yourself for your partner? Are you fearing being vulnerable with your partner because you are afraid to express yourself? Matter of fact, I should have told you on the beginning of the video, get you some piece of paper, get you a handy dandy number 2 pencil, and evaluate those triggers. Because one thing about it, you need to be aware of what triggers you. Why do you get triggered when you're ignored? Why do you get triggered when there's inconsistent relationships? Be in relationships that help you move around those, not move around those fears, but move through those fears. That's what I was trying to say. Moving through your fears. A lot of the times you can express to your partner, hey, I do not like your inconsistency. Your inconsistency makes me feel A or B. If you do not stop being inconsistent, our relationship may take a turn. It may take a turn for the worse. I'm not saying threaten your partner like, oh, if you're inconsistent, I'm going to leave you. No, express your needs to your partner so you can feel supported. A lot of the times you feel alone in relationships because you are carrying the emotional burden all by yourself. You will be in emotionally draining relationships when you meet people where they are the only ones benefiting out of the relationship. You need to be with people that are reciprocating that love. You need reliable people. You need somebody where you are going batshit crazy and you're having PMS symptoms and they're like, babe, I got you some food and some ice cream and we're gonna watch a show. That's it. That's it. People, once again, people will sell you the idea that they can love you amazingly, and when stuff gets hard for them and when the relationship gets deep, they run. You need to be with people where vulnerability doesn't scare them. I actually wrote something down for this. You can bring excitement and care. Okay, you can bring excitement and both care in your relationship. Okay, I wrote something down about this. Can they bring you excitement, but are they reliable? People want reliability and excitement, and you can have both in relationships. You do not need to be in a relationship where, yes, you guys are having fun, but are they going to make you feel supported emotionally? Are they reliable? Do they make you feel cared for and supported? One of the big things I wanted to let you guys know is that you are capable of both deep and exciting relationships. You are capable of both deep and exciting relationships. Initially, you're going to be really excited. You're going to be in the honeymoon phase, but all of the times, routine setting. People get tired of consistently talking to you every day. People get tired of doing the same things every day, which is why you need to make time to cater to your own interests. But not only cater to your own interests, be able to make time and spend time with your partner, but do not abandon yourself. People can be exciting, but you need to get to know them for who they really are. The thing about relationships is that you're here to be with somebody that's with you for the long run and not just a fun time. And a lot of the times people will convince you, oh, I'm just going with the flow. We're just vibing. If vibing is not what you want, if going with the flow is not what you want, get the fuck up out of there. Do not be in relationships where you feel like you are not going to be secure in the relationship. You are not going to be safe in the relationship. But at least you're having a fun time. At least you're having a fun time. And if you're just there for a fun time, I know that there are women that are just here for a fun time. It is possible. It is possible to just be here for a fun time. But if you feel like you're developing deeper feelings than just a fun time, then express that to that person. Hey, I want to be in a relationship that has more depth to it. I want to be in a relationship where we can get vulnerable with each other, have that discussion, or maybe you taking the initiative to be vulnerable will let you know if that person is meant for you at the time or just meant for you regardless to be in your life. If you're there for just a fun time, by all means have a fun time. If you're there for a deep, emotional, valuable connection, then do that. Have a deep, vulnerable, valuable connection. Make that connection, make that stability. Another thing that I wanted to touch on, is limerence. Oh, I had to pull out my 2024 journal for this one. My thing on limerence and steps to it. Recognize the intense emotions and attraction. Take a step back and acknowledge your feelings. Communicate your feelings respectfully and not just out of emotions and anger, because a lot of the times you suppress yourself so much in relationships when you are people pleasing and constantly overextending yourself and forgetting your own needs and what you want. You suppress yourself in relationships. You make yourself small by not expressing yourself in what you need. This really kind of F's it up for you, but avoid idealizing and fantasizing. A lot of times, once again, we put our partner on a pedestal and we're like, this person is perfect. They're exactly who they are. And then when they do things that are outside of them being perfect and they burst your bubble, it brings you back to reality. Like, hey, this person isn't perfect. Recognize their flaws, and if it's your choice to still love them through their flaws, as long as it's not hurting you or harming you, even say they're a chronical cheater, they're inconsistent, and you're like, I'm gonna accept him for his flaws. No, bitch, you do not want somebody cheating on you and being inconsistent. Get your ass out of there. Know better and do better. Thank you. All right, next. avoid in no, I don't want to say that. Longing for reciprocation and unsure feelings. If you're confused and you feel like that you're not getting your love reciprocated in the right way, and you have unsure feelings about the person that you're with, I think you need to evaluate that, discuss that with your partner, and see where that lies. Where's that unsureness lie? Are they not making you feel, is there a lack of support? Are you expressing your emotional needs? Are you letting them know how you feel about the things that they do that is causing the unsureness, that's making you anxious? Again, we are here to work through the fear of abandonment. There is no way that you're going to be like, poof, oh my gosh, I'm completely secure. I'm completely secure. There will be times where you need to feel supported, and you deserve a partner that makes you feel like, I'm okay. I am reassured. Because a lot of the times I feel like I've been with emotionally unavailable people, and it lacked so much reassurance because, one, I was pouring my energy, putting all my time and trying to love and give all my energy to this person, make them feel worthy and valuable, while they were taking and draining my energy and making me feel terrible about myself. When you put what you love to the side and put yourself to the side, you end up being miserable. When you continue to overextend, continue to sacrifice yourself in the sake or in the name of trying to prove your love to somebody, you will always end up miserable when they do not give you a return on that investment of love, or when they do not reciprocate those feelings. You will be like, are you kidding me? I know I didn't just do every single thing in my power and fight for this relationship just to get slapped in the face. It's okay. I understand. And honestly, I'd say slap him. One thing I wrote down for healthiness: emotional safety, feeling secure and sharing your thoughts and feelings. Another thing is trust, reliable and honest. Be straightforward on intentions and feelings. Communicate clearly and assertively. Well, it doesn't have to be assertively. Even in tough, uncomfortable conversations, you still need to be real, transparent, and honest. A lot of the times in relationships, I would avoid tough conversations out of the fear of being vulnerable. I do not like a lot of the past version of me operating out of fear and insecurity. I didn't want to be vulnerable in my relationships. It has kept me safe. Being open, in my head, I thought I was going to get hurt. And a lot of the times when you have a fear of abandonment, it's because you probably had an experience where you were vulnerable, where you were open, and you ended up being hurt. And that's okay. That's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be scared. But we do not want to stay in that fear, because if you're watching this video, it no longer serves a purpose in your life. Loving people out of fear, insecurity, and low self-worth is no longer who you are. It's no longer who you want to be. You want to love from a place of love. A loving place. You do not want to try to force anything. You don't want to force anybody to love you. And just because you're not with somebody doesn't mean that you need to kill the desire for all love. You need to, it's F all these niggas. No, it's okay to be by yourself. You can still have the desire for love and still choosing to be in your alone time. It's completely fine. I've done it for a while. Independence, maintaining your individuality. A lot of the times in relationships, we forget our individuality by letting ourselves be consumed in other people's lives. Do not do that. Okay, one big topic that I feel like fear of abandonment thrives in is limerence. One thing I want to get into about limerence and the sides of limerence, at least for me: intense attraction, hoping that they feel the same way. Overthinking or giving value to every little nice thing they do. Anxious and unsure about the other person's feelings. One thing about limerence is that you will fantasize and obsess over them. Do not become obsessive and continue to stalk and watch that person's page. You gain nothing from it. All right? Settling with friends or friends with benefits. When people make you negotiate your worth and they tell you, you know within yourself, hey, I want a stable and loving relationship. And they go, hey, I just want to go with the flow. I know you want a stable and loving relationship, but I still really rock with you. I really, really rock with you. You type hard. I fuck with you for real. And you're like, oh my gosh, you really fuck with me for real? Okay, we can take it slow. And yeah. Ain't no taking it. And you could take it slow, but if they're not really willing to give you commitment, if they're not willing to give you commitment up front, and you want a stable and loving relationship, and somebody's in your ear telling you go with the flow and we will get to it eventually and you'll see where it goes, no. It's okay to get to know somebody and be like, okay, I do want to get in a relationship with you. Be honest and transparent that, hey, I just want to get to know you. I think we should hang out and chill. That releases the expectation of being in a relationship. But when we do make the decision and we do have the conversation, because at one point in your partnerships, you're going to have to make a conversation like, okay, are we going to take this seriously? And when you do have that conversation on if this should be taken seriously or not, and one person wants to take it seriously and the other doesn't, but still wants to be with somebody and still reap the benefits of being taken serious, you laugh in their fucking face and ask them, do you want me to paint a clown on my face? Because clearly you think okay, next one. Settling. Forcing them to love you, proving yourself or worth. You do not need to constantly prove yourself. Love isn't about proving yourself. Again, the person that's meant to love you will love you authentically for exactly who you are, for nothing less, for nothing more. They're not going to try to make you jump through hoops. They're not going to try to test you. They are going to show up and be there for you and accept you, knowing what your flaws are, seeing you with no wig, no eyelashes, no none of that. Basically, it's being a bad bitch. But when you take a break from being a bad bitch, you're still loved. You needed somebody to break it down, I just gave it to you. Okay, one thing that I struggle with is my mood depending on their mood and the way that they treat me. Realizing my needs aren't being met and actually being unhappy and passive aggressive. One thing I wanted to get into this was my mood would heavily depend on how my partner treats me. Why? Because I have emotionally invested way too much in this relationship. I've spent all my time, all my energy on someone else. And I just don't know how to feel when this person is acting indifferently towards me. Say at one point your partner is either stonewalling you, ignoring you, or pretending that you don't exist out of nowhere. Or say they start treating you in a way that emotionally hurts you. Based on how they move, it can affect you, and they know that, hey, this triggers you. I'm going to try to trigger her, go out my way to ignore her, going out my way to ignore her regardless of how she feels. This led me to think, I cannot let somebody have this much emotional control over me, because I know within I've emotionally invested way too much. That's when you know you've taken it too far, when depending on how they move is depending on how you feel. You in too deep. You're in way too deep. I'm trying to tell you, you're in way too deep. I'm trying to tell you. This is going to be a long video. The fantasy starts to stop and I distance myself. Admitting feelings are not being reciprocated, rejection. It's best to abandon all hopes for a relationship. Don't check social medias and begin obsessing. Leave as soon as the intentions aren't mutual. Don't try to adjust or be friends with someone you have feelings for. Block and starve the connection so you can move on. Stay grounded in reality. You need to stay grounded in reality and realize, what is this person telling me? How are they feeling? And what actions are being presented me in the real world, in reality, in 3D, right in front of your face? I realize that this connection has me obsessing. I am overthinking about what this man is doing. How they treat me depends on how I feel. If they treat me shitty, I'm going to probably feel shitty about myself, because I am placing my worth in somebody else, overgiving, sacrificing, and overextending myself. I do not want you guys to overextend yourselves. These are some of the signs that I wrote down, and I wrote some affirmations, and this video is getting pretty long. But I want to say, you deserve a love that doesn't end in betrayal. You do not need to sacrifice yourself to be loved. And I know I said that multiple times in the video, but you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be loved. And no matter what flaws that you have, you need to recognize not every relationship is going to work out. Not everybody you meet is going to be this oh my gosh, this is the one. Not everybody's gonna be the one. You're gonna find people where you feel like they're the one for the year. They're probably the one for 2 years. They're probably the one for 6 months. But you need to be okay with people coming in and out of your life. You shouldn't be so hell-bent and emotionally attached to these people, because life is going to remove and add people in your life that are going to bring you joy and happiness. Love is never lost, okay? You will always get your love returned back to you. You do not need to worry. You do not need to undermine your value that you are not worthy or enough for love, because you are most definitely are, and you will find people that love and appreciate you. Love comes in very much different forms and in different people. You will be blessed with friendships, with people, with family members that love the life out of you, that proves to you that love is outside of just being in a relationship. And I know that a lot of the times on social media they paint this picture like love, like you have to be in a relationship, and I feel like they push the relationship narrative so much that a lot of the times it's like you don't feel like you're lacking a relationship until you get on social media and see a cute couple. And there's nothing wrong with couples expressing their love for each other on social media, but do not let your worth be determined by you not being in a relationship. Because honestly, people are aggravating and are never pleased, okay? You are not missing out on anything. You are right where you need to be, and you are loved right where you are. Find that love, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with these affirmations, and we're gonna end off this video. So my first affirmation that I replaced with a belief, because a lot of the times you need to loop better beliefs that you have surrounding love. The thing about it is that we ruminate on bad thoughts, and we're like, oh, I'm not worthy, oh, I'm not enough, oh, this, that, whatever you belief that you loop in your head surrounding by love. I want to change that. So I'm going to put some new beliefs that I want you to loop and replace the bad beliefs that you keep replaying in your head, okay? The first one is, I am unable to form relationships that end in betrayal. You could have a belief that everybody that's going to come into your life is going to betray you and abandon you. And the thing about fear of abandonment, you're just feeding it when you loop thoughts like that. So my replacement for this is, I am worthy and capable of forming reciprocal relationships. The belief I put down for my next one is, I allow myself to be consumed by my partner above my own life and myself. My replaced affirmation for this was, I don't need to abandon myself to love my partner. My worth is determined by me. Belief, I sacrifice my needs out of fear of losing my partner. Of affirmation, I am secure in myself and allow myself to be vulnerable in relationships without the fear of abandonment. I deserve reliable and emotionally fulfilling relationships. Next one, I am unworthy and need external validation from my partner. Affirmation, I am worthy and valuable regardless of having a partner or not. Next one, I need to chase love because I don't have it. I am love and deserve a love that's deep and reciprocated. One of the things I put is, I don't chase, I attract love. I don't feel the need to save or fix my partner. Don't lose yourself in someone else. It is not your responsibility. Stay grounded. Don't idealize. No, that's it. Those were my affirmations. Okay, guys. I'm going to end off this video right here. It was a super long video. I would hate to edit this, but I'm going to get it out to you guys. And I hope that you guys can work through your fears of abandonment. And I could probably bring a better updated video. I don't feel like I articulated myself well enough. But I hope that you got some tidbits from this video. And I'm so glad that you guys watched and tuned in. I love you guys. Guys, I hope you have a great day and you're safe and you're loved out there. Remember, you got this. It's in you, and you got the power to walk away from any situation. You do not have to force yourself to be miserable, because you don't need to be miserable in your own life. This is your own life, okay, baby? Bye. Love you.